I stopped doing this. I can't believe how quick. I mean, that's something that's good as far as Google, but they are so fast as far as the hitting the broadcast live compared to like years ago.
Yeah.
But that said, welcome everybody to another episode of Marketing Momentum with Charles and Deborah.
Hi, Deb. Hi, everybody.
Hello. And today our topic is how to deal with rejection. Now, Charles, I know that that's something that comes up in groups of writers. Talk about that. You submit a manuscript, whether it's something that you want to get published, you want to be on Amazon, you don't want to be an indie, you do want to be an indie, all these different facets of writing. But I'm curious, how does rejection come into play as far as like internet marketing?
Oh man, I mean, in all the time. I mean, if you, um, when you're maintaining a subscriber list, sometimes somebody will unsubscribe, or lots of somebody's will unsubscribe, and then
Sorry, I like how you said that.
and then some people will, where they're asked to comment, some people will actually comment, and I was always told not to read that. Right. I remember a long time said, someone said, don't read when someone unsubscribes. And I mean, I can understand why they said that because what that person says is typically really, they're already at 10, right? If they hit the unsubscribe button, you ask them why they did, it's pretty much because you suck in some way. I mean, you just really just made me mad today, and I've had it, So yeah, I mean, really, and there are all of these ways that you kind of get it, right?
I didn't think about that as far as the unsubscribes. Yeah, I've looked at it. It's like, oh my goodness, my list is 36. Oh, it's 35. Who didn't like me? Or. So I kind of stopped looking, but I didn't think about the comments. I leave comments because I'm trying to be helpful. Some of my reasons, I will admit, they're weird. We're talking about what? Was it last week or we're talking about, I called it code, but, kind of how you view life and your own rules or whatever. But
Yeah.
I'll unsubscribe. Okay, no, this is weird, so I'm not trying to judge, but I do unsubscribe if I get too many emails that start with the RE, like they replied,
Hmm.
because I feel like it's not entirely honest. If there's 10,000 people getting an RE : space response, of course we're going to go to that and say, oh man, mom, responded to my
Right.
email about Thanksgiving or whatever. It's like, oh wow, maybe this marketer is actually talking to me, and then you find out that was
Right.
everybody. Yeah. So I put that in the comment. But what you said, Charles, now I know why people aren't responding, because I try to be nice. I try to constructive criticism to say, this is why I unsubscribe. I never hear from anyone. I would have thought that somebody would have said, really? That bothers you?
Yeah.
But now that makes sense. So people aren't reading that. So I really probably shouldn't be putting comments
No,
in
I
the
mean,
comments.
no, I mean, some people do read it. I mean, it's a rule, I guess, and it's not even one that I even knew until someone said, "Why are you reading that?" And I said because they wrote it. But the other side to that is that marketing is all numbers, right? It's all a numbers game. Even if you have, let's say, a good conversion rate or a good open rate, right? You're still talking about, over 80% of the people did not open, right, an email, right? If you did well, if you did extremely well, 80% of the people didn't open it. Another 10%, right, didn't click on the link you recommended. And so, just kind of depending on you look at it, it's all some level of being rejected, right?
That's a really okay. Now you're really good at this, Charles, because you got me thinking different things. I was gonna apologize to you publicly that I don't always open your emails, but I usually do on that. So I'm part of the 10%. Is that? And oftentimes I click on your link, but I'm not here to brag about how much I I read a co-host email. But I was thinking JV Zoo. Okay, I think, Charles, I think you introduced me to JV Zoo, and we've probably said this in Marketing Momentum, but now I love it, and I log in there and like, oh man, oh, that's right, I purchased that, and I need to, it's like
Yeah.
like a candy store. But I like to look at I started working harder at putting the affiliate links into my posts, because before I
Yeah.
thought, well, I shouldn't be advertising, but I think, it's a 2,500 word post. Yeah, I kind of have
Absolutely should
be
in
putting
my
like at
opinion.
least 3
Yeah, in my
links in there,
opinion, yes.
whatever. But when I log in, I don't want to tell you what the numbers are, Charles, because it's kind of embarrassing. But point is, it's not zero. I'm seeing that people are actually visiting. Okay, maybe they're not purchasing, but like you said, it's a numbers game. I was even talking to Mike about this. I said, wow, I had this particular number, of people that actually looked at it. And it's about, let's kind of base level, let's raise that so that now maybe 10 times that many. And at some point there's going to be somebody that makes a purchase. It's numbers, like you said.
It's all numbers, right? And I guess I guess even if you're prospecting, right? If you're prospecting for, you know, either or either a gig, or or you're looking for a job or something like that, right? I mean, I guess the the, the way you kind of get it to people is, once you kind of develop the method as to how you're going to get in front of people, that's that. But then the more people obviously that you use that method on, right? A person uses their method on, the better chance of success they're going to have. But the vast majority of those trips are probably going to be no's. And I guess when it's with marketing, it is that you at some level have to accept the reality of the numbers, right? That most of the people are going to say no, and you don't do it for them, right? But you continue even though that majority is still there.
That's a really good point. And see, I think I was spoiled because I've mentioned it before on the show that my husband and I kind of started in internet marketing. It's like we start everything. We started on business internet marketing. All of it started in one day because we became domain registration resellers, where you don't buy a domain, you register. That's something that bugs me when I read, go buy a domain. No, you're not buying a domain. You're actually registering the right to use a domain, but whatever. And we're a hosting company.
If you own it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But we were, and I think I've said this before, I'm not saying it for a bragging point, but I'm saying it for a point as far as where that rejection came in or didn't come in. We were the lowest priced domains in the US for a long time. We were the lowest price in the world for 1 week. And then Germany came up with one that was $1 less. Well, when GoDaddy came out with like $8.99, we're done. I mean, that was lower than our wholesale. So it was just like, hey, we're going to pack it up. And I went into corporate America, whatever. But point is, I was actually very popular. Like people, oh, wow, that's the lady from, I'd say the company, but I don't feel like reintroducing something that was like 20 years ago. But it's like, oh, that's the lady from, and, Corey Rudel, rest in peace. He knew who we were, all this stuff, all this buzz, went to trade shows, all this stuff. It's like I propelled up, except that it was before blogs. So now there's no record of that existence, but I wasn't getting the rejection. So I thought, wow, I would not to be cocky, but it's like, hey, this is great. Hey, everybody loves me.
Right. No, exactly. Right. Yeah. This is really easy.
And they didn't. They just loved the price. The domains were so cheap that they got like, we did 24/7. I was younger, burned out, did the whole hosting thing, and people were getting literally the personalized, I was fixing stuff that I should be. The no hosting company would go fix your site for you like that. And I was doing this stuff to help people. Yeah. So of course because they're getting it for free.
Yeah. Great. Right, yeah.
But yeah, it's harder to go back in and say, okay, what's my product? I'm not going to go back in with doing registration. And I was listening to, at some point she changed her name. She used to be, I think, Kristen Eckstein, and well, I think she still is, but she goes by Kristen Joy. Have you heard of her?
I have not heard of her.
The book ninja. So this week I've been really like studying. I love to write. I guess you call it author because I've got novels, all sorts of things. But she was talking about how hard it is to make it Amazon, like a review. If you have a review from somebody that you're friends with on Facebook, Amazon is like really into that whole Facebook thing, and they will kick the review off, even if it's just a fan, somebody that loves you, Charles. They're like, oh, I love this book, and I'm going to go put a favorable review. The review will get kicked out, and you won't benefit from it.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is. With the I'd seen something like that, and I guess I'm in some of these authors groups, and I've seen, people not complaining about it, but just kind of bewildered about it, right? So what does one do to get a true review, right? In order to get, somebody to say that they objectively read the book and that they like it, and that they're not doing it because you called them or you paid them. They just happen to be connected to you on Facebook, right?
Yep. Which they might be connected because they read the book and they loved it. It's like, oh, this author actually accepted my friend request, that kind of thing. And I did that with music. I'd have people that would go purchase my music and then they'd want to become friends on Facebook. The only reason I stopped is I was getting too many marriage proposals. So it's like, it's hard to track. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm already married and we don't,
Right. Yes. Three times. Right. Yeah.
yeah, on that one. So, but otherwise I didn't, I didn't turn people away. I didn't, although what was it? Ozzy Osbourne, you turned me away, but yet you came and sang with me at, right next to me. We were singing at, Christmas carols at an old, they call old folks home. What's a politically correct retirement home?
Retirement community.
but
Yeah.
but in all fairness, he was like maxed out, so he couldn't accept me as friends. But it's like, you become friends. Hey, I'm a friend with a celebrity, whatever. And that means that celebrity can't get a positive review from you, or it doesn't count.
Yeah. No, that's interesting, right? You know, and the author, right? Especially, a Kindle author. I mean, that review really does mean something. And I thought about that the other day. I mean, these guys, who are making it, I mean, they are hustling. And I think even, excuse me, even Tim Ferriss, I mean, who you would think has really achieved, right, this really level of status, but he's really, um, while he may work 4 hours a week, he's hustling and promoting, the other
Yeah.
the other 106, or however many hours they are, he's hustling, all these other hours promoting, right? So
Didn't say
um,
that part of it. It was just the, he's got the 36,
yeah.
72 hours late. No, sorry, Tim. We're just, just saying. Yeah. That's a good point on the, what was it? Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I did pay for reviews for my album, but I didn't pay. There's a difference. I paid a company that has access to people who say, hey, I'll go listen to this music and I'll give an honest opinion. I didn't pay them for a favorable response.
Right.
I just paid for someone to, it's more like a promoting, we're going to promote this to a group of people that do this. And then they would get paid not for a favorable response, but just for sitting down and taking their time. So,
Hmm.
and I trust that's the same gal, she, Ariel.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
And it was, in fact, she didn't want to say it was her company because she didn't want any bad route, like, oh, you're selling reviews and this whole thing.
Right.
So for a
Yeah.
while, she didn't say that it was her company, but I got 4 reviews, and I think they ranged, like really glowing to kind of mediocre, whatever. But the first time, well, actually, there's only one time, but I had one that I sent back because, and I think I've mentioned this. One of the reviews said, "Oh, well, I just know this," and she used auto tune on all of it.
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
Yeah,
"You
exactly.
seriously? You're not going to contact me on Facebook and ask me, or better yet, ask my husband, who happens to be a sound engineer that mastered it, because I'll give you the sound file. You can plug it into your your computer, into the
Yeah,
software,
exactly.
and you will see that there's no auto tune. So I'm not just saying this to try to sound good, no pun intended. It really, you look at the file and it's not there. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I went back and actually did return that one because I said, how can he go out there and technically he's lying about what I did and didn't even bother to check with me to see if that's what it was.
Yeah, no.
So I got another review, mediocre, whatever, but it wasn't a bad review like that one. So and I'm sorry, I babbled off in another, another direction as far as rejection, but that whole thing with rejection, reviews, books, creative, it's difficult because you may have done something like you said, Tim Ferriss, hustling, and deserve to have an unbiased review, and somebody honestly, like I'm thinking .com secrets, and they're reading it and say, this is really awesome. So then that disappears out. And Amazon, I'm not here to pick on you. I'm just saying this is a really gray world.
Yeah, and then, there's I mean, there's always going to be, right? Somebody who's just going to kind of say they liked it, they never really read it, but that part's rare. But at the same time, though, it's when I think not more than anyone else, but and I know that there are a lot of people who, let's say, a Kindle book might be shorter, but I really do kind of I like the people who write on Kindle, and I don't even know a lot of them. I just like the idea because because once they write it, they're getting out after it, right? They're trying to get people to read it. It's their stuff, and I don't know. Maybe they'll never be, this really big author, but I just really like seeing people like write something or create something, and then really just kind of getting people excited about it because they're still excited about it. Um, And I guess, as long as they're not fully dependent on having the money like that minute, they can kind of right like get out and really enjoy people, enjoying it, even if it's like one or two people.
Right, right. And nowadays there's a whole thing with the virtual book signing. They used to have the book signing, and they still do. You go to Barnes and Noble and that sounds wonderful, but it's cost prohibitive for somebody to, especially on a 99-cent Kindle book. Can you imagine the cost of traveling around the globe? If you have the money, great, that's wonderful. And besides, how do you sign you have to have a published one, otherwise you're doing signing their computer, the iPad, or but now hi to whoever is calling me. It's like, oh, it's Amazon checking to say, why are you saying, okay, I'd reach for it, but then, my wig would pop off and we'd have a lot of fun here. So eventually there's got to be a stop point on the, on the ringing. And note to self, put the phone in another room or turn it off. And which, by the way, we used to do, the setup call. Goodness sakes, how many rings does it take before?
They're pretty persistent.
That's like what, 13? Okay, there we go. That's actually one of the things that Mike, when he goes through the setup call with people for interviews, he actually covers that. It's like, okay, turn the phone off or have another room. So what am I doing? I'm having the phone in the same room. Okay, anyway.
Well, it probably can't be Mike then, right? Yeah.
Nope. He knows better. He knows the time. He wouldn't. I have no idea. So we're talking about reviews. So, okay, how about this? And maybe it was Amazon telling me to get off the topic and talk about Amazon. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up with advice for people as far as rejection. And it seems like reviews or positive reviews are the flip side. Like it's the same coin, but it's, a lack of positive reviews can feel like rejection, or an increase in rejection can feel like those positive reviews are a little bit, I mean, they're kind of related symbiotically. What are some suggestions, some tips? Like if you had to make a list of 3 tips, one of them is a tip that you were given. Don't read the comments on the unsubscribes. So.
Yeah, I think you gotta stay in production mode, right? And so, if you're a writer, information product creator, I mean, some are going to be a bomb, some are going to be a dud. And so if you're not in production mode and you're not kind of in this mode where, okay, this is this week's or this month's, the next one maybe it'll be better. Because the only thing in, I think, information marketing is, it is a numbers game. You can't stack the odds in your favor without doing a second, third, fourth one, right? And until you've, right. And I guess the same would be true, if you're a freelancer, you're looking for gigs. I mean, if you stop at like one person or 2 people, or you stop at this week, then you don't develop a deal flow, right? It's almost like you got to kind of have it in motion all the time and stay in production mode. Otherwise, you don't put the numbers in your favor. That's
a good point. As far as I keep thinking visually when I looked at JV Zoo, because it was visual. It's like, all right, that looks good, and this I'm seeing this percentage, whatever. So again, if you could just raise that base level, get more people in front of the blog post. That's something I understand. I understand how to draw traffic into reading the blog post. And the way that translates to JV Zoo is, maybe I need to put six ads into my 2,500 word blog post, and the numbers will change.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. You can't, and don't take everything to heart. People are going to have different opinions. And I don't know, Charles, if you've seen this, but it seems like there's more haters. And I don't know if that's the culture or if it's because people can actually go like on Facebook and just spew hatred towards other people, or not that it's Facebook, but so yeah, I don't know if that's our culture, if that's just something in the US, if it's something in North America, what it is, but it seems like there's more haters out there.
Yeah, more complainer. And yeah, and you have to almost work hard not to get there.
Yep. Yeah, we need more of the the people that can fall down in the mud and stand up and just be happy like a sunflower. It's like, whoa, really? Seriously? You're that with the Pollyanna thing.
Yeah.
And by the way, Mike, he took like a personality test. He came out as too Pollyanna-ish. So he's like, my husband's too happy. So I'll take it. That's
right.
good.
Yeah, I'll take a Pollyanna. Right. Any day.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to Marketing Momentum with Charles and Deborah. And we will see you same time, same place next week.
Okay. Bye, Deb. Bye, everybody.